Hello everybody, welcome back to All DIY No Skills. So I'm making this video as a dedication to a couple of friends of mine. I was thinking about it last year. We were having a little discussion about things. I think I mentioned something about these days in society, the younger people, 20s, 30s, they really don't know how to do anything, like something simple as put a spare tire on. So my friends both said they don't know how to put a spare tire on. My other friend said he doesn't even know where his spare tire is. So I said, get the hell out of my house. Took him right to his car. It's like, here's your spare tire, here's the jack, here's how you do it. So I figured, you know what, as the dedication to them, let's show them how to put on a spare tire. So check your owner's manual. It's going to give you the location where your spare tire is if your car is equipped with it. It's going to tell you your jacking points, where to put everything. Make sure when you're getting a car to get a car with a spare tire. A couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago, we were getting my wife her first car, and we go to a dealership and the car's nice. I'm looking around, okay, everything's good. I pop the trunk, I'm looking for the spare tire. There's no spare tire. It's a freaking can of Fix-A-Flat. I look at the salesperson, I'm like, what the hell is this? Oh, some cars don't come with spare tires available. I'm like, you're pricing this car at $30,000-$35,000 that we're gonna lease, and you're giving me a $9 can of Fix-A-Flat that's not gonna do shit? So we didn't get that car. I made sure he gave us a model that came with a spare tire. Always have some extra stuff in your car, rain jackets, jumper cables, gloves, tape measure on your own. I don't know why I have that. A little air compressor always comes in handy. First aid kit, duct tape is always good. Tire plug kit. Little bag with some basic tools, just random stuff that you might need. WD-40, snips, zip ties are always handy. Channel lock, more duct tape. Alrighty. So on my car, the tire is actually located underneath the car. In some models, when you lift up this flap, there's another flap, you'll see a spare tire laying here. You see your tools maybe somewhere off to the side. Here we take off this cover. And here's our jack and our tools. This is also a fill cap, because this is one of the cars that have the no screw-on fuel caps. If you need to fill it with out of a gas can, you put this in the fuel tank, and then you can fill it up. Tools, and you pull this sucker up, and that is how we're going to release our tire. So like I said, our tire is located underneath the car. Take this piece, all the tools that you need for doing this are located somewhere in your car. When you're buying a car, read your owner's manual, find out where your stuff is. So you see a little, one of those little ball detention nuts there. Loosen up our spare tire. Just heard it drop. Lower it down. I just felt it touch my feet. A little slack. Pull that out. Let's get our jack out. And there is our spare tire. This is why you refer to your owner's manual. Most of my spare tires have been in the trunk, not under it. So this is the first time I'm dealing with one of these. You slide it in the hole. There you go, spare tires out. Always refer to your owner's manual. Now, on this car we have jacking points located here for the back tire and over here for the front. You always want to put your jack where the mounting points are on your frame. Make sure you're doing it on the frame. If it's on anywhere else, you're going to damage your car. We're going to take our jack. This jack is very common in almost all cars. You want to make sure your car is on a flat, level surface. Start raising it up. You can do this by hand in the beginning. It takes a little while because it's a screw jack. We're gonna get it located underneath our jacking point. Oh, I just noticed this. There's a little arrow right here. Tells you where to jack it. So, again, a silly video, but the reason I'm doing this is because not a lot of younger people in the 20s, 30s have been taught how to really do anything themselves. It's kind of why I started this channel. You know, I kind of always just figured stuff out, always wanted to learn. The younger people these days, they're all in their TikToks and Instagrams and all that other crap, but they don't know how to change or put on a spare tire. So what the hell are you gonna do in case of an emergency? You're gonna call somebody? Why is that always the answer, to call somebody when it's really not that hard? So we have our jack located. Now we're gonna deal with our wheel. Again, going back to this tool. Boom, everything you need to remove the lug nuts. Take the other spot out. So now, the easiest way to remove the lug nuts is when the wheel is still on the ground. If you're removing the front wheels, then your parking brake usually keeps them in place. If you're removing a back wheel, put on your emergency brake or your handbrake, or you keep it touching the ground. If you're removing the front, make sure that you have your emergency brake on. Now you want to break the nuts on this. If you have enough strength, you could just do it yourself, just by force. Or if it's a little hard going, put it on, step on it, you break the nut, and there you go. Loosen up all your bolts. And this is why we're still doing this on the ground without the car being jacked up, because breaking these lug nuts move the car around. You don't want to have the car in the air when you're doing this. There you go. You get these all nice and loose to where you can unscrew them by hand. This is probably the worst part of everything. Go back to your jack. We have it in the right position. And we're going to start lifting the car. This part usually takes the longest because you have to release all the tension on the shocks. And depending on what kind of car you have, for instance, this is an SUV. It's going to have larger suspension, and you're going to have to lift a little bit higher. So going back to how people don't know how to do things themselves these days, it's really quite sad. You know, how we live in a society where people just expect to pay somebody, things are done for them, or they hope nothing breaks and they don't have to worry about fixing it. They don't know how to deal with an emergency situation, a problem, how to fix things themselves. I had a philosophy professor in college. I remember this quote to this day. He said to me, he said to the class, if you don't know how to fix your toilet, how do you know how to fix your life? But you know what? Man's right. If you don't know how to fix the things around you, how do you know anything about life? How do you know how to fix anything about your life? Yeah. Trades are unfortunately a dying profession. Plumbers, electricians, carpenters. Everybody's trying to work in IT, a nice cushy little office job, a few $100,000 in debt. Why am I going to be a plumber? It's a dirty, disgusting job, dealing with poop all the time. But then guess what? Your toilet starts overflowing. You don't know how to use a $15 plunger, so you call a plumber, pay him $300 to fix your toilet. So who's the smart one there? All right. So we're jacking up the car, almost have the back tire in the air. A little bit more. Like I said, if you have something like an SUV, the suspension has a large travel, so you got to jack it up quite a bit in order to get the tire in the air. A few more turns. Now, this is really the biggest pain of the whole process, is getting the car in the air, because you're dealing with this little screw jack, so every time you turn it, raises the car by a fraction of an inch. So sometimes it feels like you're turning for days. Alright, so we have the car in the air, it's not touching the ground. I'm not gonna go higher than that. Pull off our lug nuts. Remember, we loosened these earlier, so we can just pull them off by hand. You gotta wiggle the tire around a little bit. Don't lose your lug nuts. more. Wheels off. Put on our spare. We're gonna hand tighten first. Push your wheel on so you get all the threads in. Right now we're just hand tightening only. All right, go back to our jack, pull this off, and now we tighten. And when you tighten, you want to go kind of like a star pattern. So I started up here. You want to go across this one, tighten this guy, back across to this guy, here, finally over here. And there we go. Our spare tire is on. We can drive to the nearest tire shop, get our new one plugged or patched or whatever he needs to do, get a new tire. These things are usually only good for 50 miles. It says your rating on it, 50 miles per hour. You're not supposed to go too far, just to the nearest repair shop. And that's it. Now, make sure these bad boys are tight. You're gonna wanna lower your jack a little bit until the tire is touching the ground. And there. Put your tool back on. And just step with your foot. And just go around until everything is nice and tight. And that's it. That's how you put a spare tire on. Thanks again. Take care.